Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. I'm so glad that you joined me this week. My, what a good psalm we have to study, Psalm 49. And as I encouraged you yesterday, I hope that you'll go over to Psalm 73, compare the two. They're different, but they're similar in some ways. Psalm 73 is really more of a complaint. Psalm 49 is more of a teaching. It is a psalm of the sons of Korah. It is arranged by the choir master. And so we have those names here at the beginning of the psalm. Today we're going to look at verses 6 through 9. Now yesterday we opened up with the introduction, which is everybody's going to come and listen. Hear this. And that was for everyone, people of the world, all the inhabitants, low, high, rich, poor. We're going to learn wisdom and understanding through a parable, and which he's apparently going to play on his harp. So music, one of the best vehicles of all time for, getting across an idea. Music is just one of those things that helps us remember. And so he's going to play this on the harp so that we can remember it. Why should I fear in the days of evil, he says there in verse 5, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about? Well, why should he fear? We're going to find out about that, answer that question later on in the psalm. But then in verses 6 through 9, we turn directly to another group. This is not the psalmist now, they that trust in their wealth. So we're going to look at this group that trusts in wealth. Verse 6. They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceases forever, that he should still live forever and not see corruption. Notice that we are talking about people that trust in their wealth. And we're going to see the futility of trusting in riches. So we have rich folk here who are wealthy. They have a multitude of riches, it says there in verse 6. And then in verse 7, there's a problem. None of them can by any means redeem his brother. Well, what happened to the riches? What happened to all that wealth? You see, you can't say to God, here, I want to buy for my brother freedom from his sins. Remember, the problem that the psalmist put before us there in verse 5 was, why should I fear in the days of evil when the iniquity of my heel shall compass me about? Well, for the rich man, that is a problem because he's trusting in the wrong thing. He's trusting in his riches, and you can't buy your freedom from sin with riches. If you trust in riches, you're going to find very quickly how futile that trust is. Verse 7 tells us, none can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. So redemption and ransom from sin cannot be purchased with riches. And then we're told something about the ransom, or the redemption here in 8. The redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceases forever. So the redemption of the soul is precious to God, and it's one time. That is, it ceases forever. There's only one. You can't go back and repeat it over and over and over again. There's one redemption for the soul of man, and that is the sacrifice of the Lord Jesus. He died once, one time, made a sacrifice of himself for all men, for all ages, and that's it. And that is precious to God. You go back and look in the book of Hebrews. I think it's in verses or in chapters 9 and 10. You go look at chapters 9 and 10 in the book of Hebrews, and it tells us about that one-time sacrifice that's precious before God. It's not your riches, but it's the blood of Christ. And that blood avails for us forever. It's one time forever. It creates a life for us forever, and it redeems us from the corruption of the grave. And that is forever as well. The problem is then that they trust in riches, and that trust is not going to help them when they are surrounded by the iniquity of their heels. Join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 10 through 13, going down to that first Selah, here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.